So are you thinking about purchasing your first investment property and need a property management company, have no clue where to start? Or do you have a real estate portfolio and your property manager sucks? Well, in today's episode, I'm going to be meeting up with a property manager and I'm going to ask the questions that you should be asking to make sure you are hiring the right property management company. Action!
Hey, what's up?
So today I got Lorrie, Busby with Simply Vegas. She's a property management company. And how many units or how many properties do you have?
I think it's about 60 now.
How many?
60.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you this. What is the difference between a smaller company or a bigger company?
Well, first of all, it's experience and being exposed to all the different aspects of property management.
Okay.
So it's been a minute for me. I've been doing this about 20 years.
20 years.
20 years. I've had almost 200 properties at one point. Before the market crashed, of course, there was a lot more investors at that time.
And how do I find out which property management company is actually for me?
Well, first of all, it's going to be a personality fit. Okay, that's the first thing. And agreement on how the property is going to be run and what that looks like and the services they're going to provide and if that works for you. Because we all have different ways we run our business.
Yeah.
How we pay, how we do our credit checks, what our standards are for those tenants to come in and be able to rent a property.
So here's the thing. You guys already know that I'm probably deciding to rent out this property. And that's why Lorrie's here today. And I do have other properties that I've been managing on my own. But now it's getting to the point where I'm getting very busy. And she's going to take this one over. And this is going to be my first time having a property management company to manage this. And I could have used any company out there, trust me. But the reason why I'm using her because she has a really good personality, believe it or not. I'm not.
Personality plus.
Yeah. But now let's talk about like fees and stuff like that. So I'm calling a bunch of property management companies. I noticed some companies charge 12%, 10%. How are those fee structures? Like what do I got to look out for?
Well, I would say the main one you want to look out for is what are the additional fees, if there are additional fees. For example, I do a flat fee system. But some managers, they might charge a little bit lower, but then if they have to do X, Y, and Z, they will charge you for X, Y, and Z. Yeah. So it can get expensive if things aren't going exactly as planned, especially with the tenant.
No, on a serious note, you know the flat fee that you're talking about? What is that? That's where I'm kind of like confused. Do I just pay you like one fee?
Right. So the way it works is you have your marketing fees, your referral fees. You have a set of fees, first of all, just to get the property rented, right? So what I'll do is I will charge a set rate instead of saying, oh, it's going to be this much for this or this much for this or this much for this. It's that set rate. No matter what it takes for me to get that property rented, and pay a referral fee, it is that rate and that rate only. Okay. And then there's the monthly fee for the maintenance, collecting the rents, reconciling the account, doing the statements to the owner, the direct deposits, whatever it takes for the monthly maintenance. There's a percentage fee, and that encompasses, though, everything that needs to be done. If I have to go by the property, make phone calls, write letter, whatever it is, it's all included in that fee. There's no extra charges. It's just that fee.
So it sounds like there's like a percentage of you're taking of the rent. Is that correct?
That's correct. It is a percentage of the rent, and it depends on the property, the price range, what that fee is going to be.
Is that negotiable?
Not typically, because my rates are pretty competitive.
Can I ask you what your rates are?
Usually they run between 8 and 10%.
Got it.
It's going to depend on also if you have multiple properties, you're going to get that lower interest rate. If you have a higher end property, you're probably going to get that lower, not interest rate, but the percentage rate. That's typically, what happens. That's the 8 to 10%, depending on the property. So
it sounds like you do work for 8%. So you're actually working.
Yeah, I'm actually working.
So let me ask you this. What do you think about the property so far?
I love this kitchen. I absolutely love the kitchen, the countertops, the stainless steel. I like the white, the bright, because when you're dealing with the smaller space, it just really brings the room alive. It just pops. And you've got the lighter floors here. Love that fireplace.
Thank you. That was an additional added.
Yes, I love that. So, and I just, right now, these grays and these whites, they're really popular. Okay. And I think it's a color that's going to stay for a while. We've had some phases where we've had kind of those yellowy looking walls and the dark woods, and people are really open to this lighter, brighter look. So you haven't tried this fireplace, or what's the story?
I haven't tried it. So I would say, hey, let's just leave it as far as aesthetics.
Okay. But what's going to happen when the tenant tries to turn it on?
Can't we just tell them, hey, it doesn't work, don't use it?
Yes, but most people aren't going to like the fact that they can't use it.
Okay, so then I'll have to figure this thing out then.
You know who fixes those, right? The plumber does.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we have to get a plumber.
Because it's a gas line.
Yeah.
So they work on those. It's a plumber. If you want the name of a plumber, I can send you. Some do work on fireplaces, and some don't.
Okay.
And there's actually one guy in town, that's all he does is work on fireplaces.
So then I'll let you deal with that. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, so have you even tried to light it?
I think it does work, but according to the home inspection report, you got to clean out the dampers or something. I don't know.
Okay, and here we are.
So look, we got all the new blinds. Okay, all brand new lights, obviously. Washer and dryer.
Okay.
My old ones.
So these are not new though.
No, they're newly used.
They're new used. You know what? I love that.
Newly used.
The next time I send a used appliance as a replacement, I'm going to say it's new used.
Yes. now this one. I don't really like the remotes here. I should have just did. It doesn't work really well. See, it's like you gotta kind of like mess with it. Oh, maybe it's going brighter now. Oh, there you go. I just hit the wrong. Okay, it does work. Never mind.
So does the fan?
Yeah, the fan works. Let's see here.
Oh, okay. So it's just one of those ones you gotta hold and it dims and it brightens, or if you hold it long enough, it turns off.
I could never figure this thing out. See, look. Oh man, it's kind of chilly in here.
Yeah, I'm glad I got my jacket on now, right?
All right, let me turn this thing off here. So now it's slowing down. You hear that? You can't even hear it.
If we can hear it, we're gonna have to send a handyman out.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta show you this bathroom real quick. I gotta put the toilet thing in here. We still gotta do a mirror. That's coming.
Okay.
This one I actually kind of messed up. Instead of the shower rod, I put this, but look at this. I totally forgot that I had to move this one too. So basically now...
So now they'll smack.
It's not about being smacked. It's about now you got to jump in here, turn it on, right?
Does this one, it moves though, right?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, I thought it does move.
I did too. I messed up on it.
Oh, so, well, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's still a brand new bathroom.
Yeah, no, it's just, it is what it is. Yeah. It's done. So I don't think it's the end of the world or you can even as you're stepping in, turn it on. It's only going to take 5 seconds to get the warm water and just start your shower.
You know when you put this thing up on the market, what is it you're going to do exactly to get me a tenant?
I'm going to go to the street corner and I'm going to find that guy that's sleeping on it.
Okay.
And then I'm going to ask him if he wants to move in here.
Okay, you're fired. No, on a serious note, how are you going to find somebody to actually rent this thing out?
So it's all about the marketing.
Yeah.
Having exposure. And, our MLS now, it's just so integrated into other sites that once it goes in there, I'll just get leads from everywhere. It could be from Zillow, it could be Redfin, it could be apartments.com. There's random sites I've never even heard of I get leads from. There's also, I have a website, so the property would be in that website, and I get leads generated from that I answer to. And then, of course, always the other realtors too, you know, because we're offering that referral fee, they'll show the property.
Okay. It opens automatically. Say open.
Open.
See?
I like it, and it coincides with the other bathroom. It looks very nice.
I created
It's
that
very
soapbox.
cohesive.
We did some plumbing in here. Everything's all brand new. Again, the only thing we got to do is do the mirror here.
And I'm loving the soft closed doors, by the way.
I know. I went a little bit. Yes, I went a little bit overboard. Oh, air conditioning units right here. Furnace.
Where's the?
The condenser's out here, but that's the furnace, right? But let's see if this thing.
Where's the filter for the AC?
Oh, good question. This is how it works. Right here. 13 by. A filter goes right in here.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have to get the filter. But let's turn on the air conditioning unit first because I want to make sure we have the right air conditioning unit. So we got to check that out. I'm going to drop it down to 50. Let's see if this thing kicks on.
There it goes.
All right, cool. Let's go outside and see if that condenser works. So like I said, this is actually good for you guys because you want to make sure the property management knows your property. But which one is it?
It's the,
Yep,
it's the
that
bigger
one
that we thought it was.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right, so we're good to go on that one. So I want to go back to screening your tenants.
Yes.
Credit score. What happens if the credit score is low? Is there like a certain requirement that you look at?
There's a threshold. We used to kind of consider a little bit lower, but in our current conditions with property management and as far as like if something goes wrong, what it takes to move the process along to an eviction or whatever it may be if that worst case scenario did happen.
Yeah.
So now we're looking usually at 640 score or above.
640. Ooh, that's
I
kind of
know
low.
that is kind of low, but you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. Most people are falling like at that range. Some of them are even way below that range.
Yeah.
But you know, this is a rental. It's not a purchase. So maybe somebody at one point they filed bankruptcy and it's been a few years and they've been rebuilding their credit, right? So they might be on that lower end, but they've wiped whatever way since then they've been paying everything on time, and it's also all about the rental verification.
Okay,
that's so important.
So what you're going to do is pull a credit report, right?
We're going to pull a credit report. That's
640 in today's market and above is okay, but then like, what do you look at to say, hey, this guy's actually going to pay us?
Well, first we're looking at that, and then we're looking at what's the income to debt ratio, right? So if this person, let's say Johnny over here, he's making X amount of dollars, but he has a lot of credit card debt. He's driving a $100,000 car. I'm going to look at that not just the credit worthiness, like have you been paying, right? Because that tells us stuff. Yeah. But also, are you capable of paying the rent, or will the rent be last or end up not being paid because you have all this other debt?
That's very important because it's almost like financing, right? Yeah. Really, like I never really thought of that. I'm just like, hey, can you make the payment? Yeah. Which makes sense. Yeah, now, is there a certain threshold, 38%, as far as debt to income ratio?
The way our system works is you actually get scores. So this is some of the things that we're
system. So you're punching this into a system.
Everybody. Well, it's like a worksheet basically, and everybody is, I guess you call it graded. Yeah. In this system, and the things we're looking at is
let me get that fly.
I know, right?
Little bastard.
Hey, you got him. Kind of kick high. Maybe you should think about the raw pets.
I need a Tylenol.
So these are kind of the main things we're looking at. We're looking at credit, right? Because credit will tell you a lot. Yeah. We're looking at income to debt. We're looking at how many times have you changed jobs in the last 3 years. Okay. Was it in the same field? If it's not in the same field, you'll lose, let's say, a point, right? We're looking at rental verification. We're looking, usually we want 3 years.
Okay.
Personally calling the landlords.
And you'll do all that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Calling them up, sending them over forms to fill out that are asking questions. Did they pay their rent on time? Was anything returned? Were there lease violations? Were there noise complaints? There's going to be questions on there, and it has to be returned to me.
Yeah.
So that's some of the stuff we're looking at. And it paints a picture and it gives a score.
Okay.
And based on that score, it'll say, this person should be approved, this person might be considered with additional security deposit, or it's a flat out no. No matter what, it's always presented.
So is it like a 1 to 10 or like 1 to 100%? Like, how does that work?
No, it's a 1 to 10.
Okay.
And of course, the owner at the end is always called and told, hey, I have this application, this is what it looks like, what do you think, what do you want to do? Obviously, if there's multiple applications, then it's all presented. And it's, do you want to choose any of these tenants?
See, you gotta have some fun. Okay, so this unit is located in an HOA community. What are the things that we need to look out for? And do I gotta deal with the HOA? Because, now that I'm accumulating more and more properties, I just don't want to deal with anything. So you're gonna handle all that for me, right?
The HOA fees, I have the owners pay.
Okay.
All right, because you never want to have a problem with your HOA fees.
Okay.
Right? You're just going to get fined and all kinds of things will happen. And really, you just want to go on like an auto pay system. They all have it now, and just let that be paid. Right? So, I mean, besides that, if there's a problem, if they say, oh, we don't like the color of the pot on your porch or whatever it may be, right? I will deal with that.
Talking about terms on the rentals, should we do 6 months? Or a minimum of a year? What do you suggest?
Minimum of 1 year.
Okay.
And the reason why is because once someone moves out, you always have turnover costs, whatever it may. It might be little uptick things. And also you're going to incur, a lot of times, some kind of vacancy, even if it's 3 days, right? It's 3 days of income lost. So you want to do that 1 year. And then, by the time that year comes up and they want to stay, a lot of times these days we're doing rent increases.
Okay.
So you'll then incorporate the rent increase in the renewal.
Okay. Now, what about the utilities? Because HOA is going to be covered by me. I know with the HOA fees, right, and a lot of condos on the HOAs cover trash, sewage, and also water. But what about like just regular like communities like Summerlin, where they only cover like the grounds? Are you going to handle all that too, or is that something that I'm paying off into the side as well?
No, that's part of the tenant's lease.
Okay.
When it's rented, leased out, right? They're in charge of all the utilities.
Okay.
The only exception that I do a lot of times is the sewer, if it's separate. The sewer company tends to give leasees a hard time because it's a utility you can never shut off.
Yeah.
And so that has to remain in the owner's name. But what I do is it's a set fee.
Okay.
And so I incorporate it into the rent. So the owner's reimbursed every month in the rent for that cost, and all the other utilities are in their name.
And here's a quick tip. The reason why you want to probably pay this on your own is because when you close on a home, you got trash and sewage is basically a voluntary lien that's attached to your property. And if you have the tenants pay it, and they don't pay it, then now they're going to file a lien against your property, which makes sense to increase your rent a little bit more to cover those items, and you just make the payments on your own. Now, I want to ask you this. If we have a problem with the tenant, number one, do I got to deal with it? And how do we handle the situation, or how do you handle the situation? And what does it actually cost me?
Well, if things go south somehow, I'm the one that deals with it.
Okay.
I'm the one that's going to handle it. I'll probably call you and give you updates.
Okay.
But that's what I'm there for.
Okay.
Right? I'm there to manage the property, act on your behalf, and handle everything. So if it was to turn into an eviction situation, then there would be additional fees because a third-party company is used to serve those notices.
Okay.
That way the tenant can never say, oh, she didn't give it to me, I didn't get that. And there's a lot of notices now that are attached to that paperwork that is required to be given. And so I let a third-party company handle that. And they have their own fee structure.
Okay, so do I have to go to court or anything like that?
No, I would be doing that.
Okay.
And that would fall under extraordinary services at that point. That would go beyond the monthly fee.
All right. Well, guys, if you guys want more video content like this, let me know in the comments below. And if you guys are thinking about purchasing your first investment property, you need a property management, or you are an investor out there and you have a real estate portfolio and your property manager sucks, I got a good one right here. That's right. I'm gonna have her contact information in the link in the description below. Other than that, you are awesome.
Thank you.
Done.